Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome to PSGL's F11 and F10. This is Webbo, and I'll be your commentator for this evening for a very special final event of our season, where the available drivers from both F11 and F10 will race head to head in a non-championship non-championship race, I believe. But certainly some bragging rights up here for the offing, I should say. We've got both confirmed champions, both Stiggy from F10 and Gibbuk from F11 representing tonight. We've got 19 drivers for you, so we should have on our hands a much better evening's racing than left to each of our own devices, I should say. As I say, my name is Webber. You can find me on Twitter at WebberRed5, and the links for Premier Sim Racing League and myself on socials are at the top of the live chat. How do we know who F10 and who F11 is? Well, if you're a regular watcher of either, you'll know. If not, ask me, or I will try and let you know. I know that in terms of F11, Ryan, Matty, we have Huberto, Franco, Jamie, Enro, and our F11 champion Gibbuk, and then everybody else is by process of elimination. Everybody else is your F10 regulars. Thankfully, we're out in time for qualifying. There was a little bit of worry as to whether we were all going to get out ready to qualify or not. We've got a Alpha Tauri out there first. It's Florvistic. So for representing the NLR race team as well, Florvistic will tackle the very first hot lap here in qualifying down into Curva 1 and the S Docena. Just trying to feel the grip around, hopefully generated enough heat in these soft tyres to run down the Reta Opposta and towards Decido do Lago. Turn 4, of course, very famous this year, turn 4, and through into the next part of the corner. Then we're heading towards Ferradura and La Jarina. Very, very fast sequence of corners, multiple lines possible. This is Esse, and the left-hander Pinheirino seems never-ending, waiting to get the traction on. We head into the Bico di Pato now on the right, using some of that banking and positive camber. Now Mergulo, and the last braking zone on the track is Yonsao, literally the junction, and we head up then through the flat out left-handers, making full use of that left-hand curb on the inside. Hug the pit wall for the shortest run to the finish line, and it's a 107.399, the initial pace here. Gibbuk is not the Aston Martin about to complete a lap, so unfortunately we'll just wait with Gibbuk, our F11 champion. Hi to Tom, Ryan and Mark, who join us on the chat. If you've joined us and you haven't said hello, or who you're here to support, do let us know. If you're one of the drivers and you've got a different YouTube handle, try and help us decode that as well. Ethan Lessiter at 107.595, second place. Then Steber, Ryan, Tam, Enro have put in time so far. Enro just beaten by Neon, I think is the lead coordinator. Looks like Gibbuk is screaming on into the pits with no regard to practicing his pit stop timing. Magic, a driver I know well, about to cross the line. It's P6 for Magic, a 108.420 in the Ferrari. My normal F11 reference points are all thrown out a little bit, so please be patient with me. If you do spot something on stream, remember I'm only one pair of not particularly well functioning eyes, so do let me know if you see something interesting going on that I'm not drawing attention to. Always good to have some spotters out there if possible. Jay Carty is just trying to close out this lap, try and stay valid. Soft tyres on the Ferrari. Looks like Florvistic has gone provisional pole on a 107.399. What's Jay Carty got underneath him in the Ferrari here? Wait to see him cross the line, and it's a P7, so Ferrari 7th and 9th currently. The McLaren's doing best out of qualifying so far. Tom, one of our reserve drivers for F11, just still warming the tyres. And Stiggy about to head into turn 4, Descida do Lago. He's gone invalid, unfortunately, so that lap not working out. Tom on the medium tyres is having a slow old run to get the car underneath him. What about Matty? Just beginning his lap, I believe. Short shifting through 5th gear through here. Kryptonite's here just to watch the almost full grid. Yes, we're very pleased to make this one work out. The yellow flag up the track ahead of Matty, but it won't trouble him. Just cars getting out of each other's way. Matty begging the car to come in towards the apex here with the additional grip. And Yamo's watching as well. Fantastic stuff. Yamo, second place in our F11 championship, but unfortunately having a mechanical situation with his racing equipment. I don't think he fancies running on controller after so much practice on his wheel, which is currently out of action. Well, Matty heading up the hill now towards just full throttle and some steering inputs left until we find out his first banker lap. Matty crosses the line and it's a P8 for Alpha Tauri, his teammate in second, and Dylan, another NLR driver, has gone 107.354, so very, very close up at the top between the two NLR mates, although they are racing for rival teams tonight. Both of them representing F10. I don't know if Yamo can do us a live comparison, F10 versus F11, and how we're faring. That'll be really interesting, Yamo, if you wouldn't mind. And Jay Tyler then now on a lap, but unfortunately that one is not working out. Hecht has gone fastest, I believe. Hecht, I've watched him racing a number of times before as well. Yamo saying his controller skills would be carnage. Well, maybe you can make best use of some calculator skills tonight for us, Yamo. That'd be pretty awesome. We could either do it based on overall finished positions, or we can talk about championship points. Up to you. Jibuk has retired from the session without putting a lap in. I think he's going for a last to first challenge, as he promised me last week, although this week racing a division up would be interesting. So Yamo, just figure out the points, mate, and count up who's ahead and who isn't. That'd be pretty cool if you could. Between F11 and F10. Obviously, I'll be able to call the race result in front of me, but yeah, a nice view of which division is ahead would be cool. Neon is running in the Red Bull. I think Neon is the lead coordinator for F11. Running out of room a little bit, Neon. I think heading into the pits. No, just feathering the throttle. Quite sure on the tactic there. Let's see if Stiggy can put a lap in this time out. Nicely into SA for Stiggy. And Franco's teammates have found him here on the stream. Yamo says F10 are currently faster. Yeah. Just Jamie up there in 7th for F11, 9th for Ryan, 10th for Matty. They should be, but with the breadth of field in across PSGL, it wouldn't surprise me if there'd be some F11 drivers who can get up amongst it tonight. Stiggy, P6 in the Mercedes. That's a nice lap from him, a 107.593. Would have been good enough for one of our early pole position times. And the field really starting to close in now. 107.233 by Hecht is the benchmark for everybody to attack. I think Florvistic is out there as well, but we'll just finish this lap with Enro, who's currently 0.2 faster than he's been before, and heading towards the 107.5 mark. If he can get there, that'll be good. Enro heading towards the line then. This should be a little bit better. And P6 for Enro. Just about, you know, if the drivers have got positive into the second sector here in Brazil, they're almost certainly going to carry that through to the end. There's just Yun Sao to get right, and then it's all full throttle. Very difficult to make a difference in the final sector unless you've really trimmed out your downforce settings. Welcome to everybody who's joining us. I think we've got some sharing going on socials. Please don't forget to like the video tonight and subscribe to PSGL. We'll have a small break during the Christmas holidays and New Year, and then I'm sure we'll be back for a historic season 30 very soon. Florvistic, new provisional pole of 106.955, the first driver into the 106 group, and a purple lap. Beautifully done by Florvistic in the AlphaTauri here. Who else have we got actually attacking a lap? Hype, appropriately enough, although he appears to be going a little bit slowly here, not attacking this one, and yeah, just ducking out of the throttle. So let's have a look at the Williams driver, Dylan, as Tam in the Red Bull goes P2 of 107.186, and a tiny fraction out of the track goes Dylan, and he invalidates sadly. What's Franco up to? Scream all of his fans who regularly join us on the F11 stream. Franco is going into the pits, currently P8. Unfortunately, no special action from Franco right now. I think Ryan is also on an in-lap. We've got Jamie currently running. League coordinator for F11 is Jamie. Keeps us all in check. Looks after us all with our standings and everything. Jamie currently positive on his Delta. Look at the field spread currently. 1 second separating the top 14 drivers here tonight, and screaming up the hill goes Jamie and jumps up to P10. Not a brilliant place to start a race, obviously, but yeah, hopefully he can improve on that one. Matty, I think, has run and done this one, 3/10 over. So just waiting to see. What about Maciek? 3.5 tenths faster. This should get him well close to the top times. That's a P14 for Maciek, just losing a little in that final sector. Not a lot, but it's P14 for Maciek in the Ferrari. Ferrari's dropping down massively in as we progress through this session, but they'll look for a good final run. There's currently 5 minutes just over before the checkered flag falls out there. Hecht goes slightly faster, but simply cannot break into the 106s. Hecht currently tantalizingly close to that mark, just 0.094 over 107. And currently then, with 5 minutes to go, we've got Florvistic from Hecht, Tam, Ethan, Hype, Jay Tyler, Dylan, Franco, Staber, Jamie, Ryan as the top 11, followed by Enro, Stiggy, Maciek, Matty, Jay Carty, Neon, Tom, Huberto Mancini, and the F11 champion is Jibuk down in P20, trying to run a last to first challenge here. Looks like Ethan coming out of the pits, as is Franco as well, just ahead of him, I think they're on track. So they'll go head to head on this one. Huberto Mancini having a rare run as a teammate to Franco tonight. Huberto normally a Mercedes driver with Jibuk. Franco normally an AlphaTauri driver, I believe. So Ethan, like I say, just behind, but in currently P4 in the order. So just wanting a little bit of distance between himself and Franco ahead on track. So safely through the first 3 corners goes Ethan. No sector time for me tonight, it seems. Oh, losing the car on the inside curb. It's going to be lucky if he can keep that in one piece. I think he just about has. So we'll join Franco for now, who's actually on a lap. Unfortunately, Ethan just pushing a little bit hard through Descida do Lago. Franco working the wheel, dropping those gears down into Mergulo. He's got a purple middle sector, Franco, from P8. Is he going to hook it all together and get us a better representation for the F11 group as he goes up the hill then? Franco into third place. Wow, what a great starting position that would be for Franco and for all of his fans who join us regularly. I've seen Angel is here already cheering him on. Tam is 5 thousandths faster than he's been before through the first sector of this lap for Red Bull. Looks like Florvistic coming out to defend the pole as well. We'll join him shortly. Oh, lovely line into SA from Tam. It's very similar. Bico de Pato corner coming up. Just leaving the apex a little bit, begging there. Unfortunately, wiping the car out. And that's the end of that lap from Tam. Won't go any quicker on this one, but he will be able to get into the pits. And it's with the short track, it might be possible just to get back out there and run again. Anybody else able to jump up into the top 10? Currently, Florvistic, Hecht, Franco, Tam, Ethan, Hype, Jay Tyler, Dylan, Steva, and Jamie make out your top 10. Oh, Dylan says it predicted a wet race for most of it with some dry conditions later on. That should be excellent. Should be well. We should be well worth sticking around and watching tonight. Florvistic then goes. He's currently the only one under 107 and is attacking the lap at its absolute best track evolution point. Ethan's retired. He can't get another lap out of this one. How does this first sector compare for Florvistic? A 10th faster than he's been before. Fantastic stuff. So Florvistic defending the pole position. Hecht, I don't think will come out. Steba's gone up to 4th now, deposing Tam. Ethan in 6th. Looks like Hype is on an outlap. Might get a very, very late run. So Florvistic heading towards Bico di Pato. Finishing out this second sector. And Hal says, trust the plan, trust El Plan. We will see. So down, he's just eked a tiny amount more out of this sector. Just 0.05 of a second he's gained in this one. He's currently up on his time. What can Florvistic do to stretch that lead? A 106.8, will it be? It's always even better, a 106.755 with a brilliant final sector and a purple lap, of course, from our driver. Brilliant stuff for Florvistic. I can see Hype might be on a lap. Where did Hype just go? Jay Tyler's gone second. Jay Tyler up to second place in the Alpine. Good stuff. Excellent. So Florvistic, Jay Tyler and Hecht. Dylan in 4th, then Franco down to 5th now. It was an amazing lap from Florvistic there. And Jay Tyler got within the range of pole position had Florvistic not dropped the bar even further. Yeah, he is finishing this one. Jay Tyler at 106.993, but beaten so far by Florvistic, of course. Up there, Stiggy is throwing that car around, treating it very, very badly. I don't think he's having a good time. Hype has had an issue. Jay Tyler and Hecht cannot challenge. I think the pole is going to be Florvistic's to own tonight. Hype was not supposed to be taking part in the qualifying tonight, I believe, unfortunately. So Alpha Tauri on top, and we'll go through the order. But it looks like F10 are definitely ahead. at least through qualifying, but as we know, wet conditions will throw a big spanner in the works tonight. So the Dutchman, Florvistic for NLR and AlphaTauri. Florvistic takes pole position at 106.755 from Jay Tyler in the Alpine, then Hecht, Dylan in P4, and then Franco, the highest place F11 driver, on his own there with Stieber, Tam, Ethan, Hype, Stiggy, Jay Carty, all F10 until we get to the F11 drivers in 12th, Jamie, Ryan, Enro, then Maciek for F10, Tom, Matty, Neon, Huberto Mancini, and his erstwhile teammate from our F11 season, Jibuk, and reigning champion now. Jibuk starting at the back, and Huberto Mancini driving with him. I don't know if that's just about solidarity, Huberto, or an accident. So it is throwing it down in Brazil at the Sao Paulo circuit for us. Hype has been instructed to drop to the back of the grid. So he should get out of the way. And Hal says, rain or race? I don't believe so. I think we are predicted at changeable conditions and some drying towards the end of the race. But very difficult to say. The rain, is it heavy enough? There's puddles everywhere. It looks like wet tyres for the grid as they move across the start-finish straight and try to feel the grip for the first time. And it's a full wet conditions for everybody. Ginger Place says, will Hype just move over? I believe he will, so don't be alarmed if you see Hype dropping down the order. Hopefully he'll be able to do it in a safe position, because blocking the grid is not a great idea. Full 20-car grid to take us through this final race of the season, and honestly I'm really happy about it. I think this is a fantastic fix, so props to everybody for making that quick pivot at the end. I know Kryptonite was suggesting it, and it's great to have everybody there. So Jibuk at the back, champion of F11, Huberto Mancini. Then Neon in the Red Bull. We've got Matty racing for F11 honours, as is Tom. Then Maciek in the Ferrari. Maciek likes a Ferrari from other leagues. I commentate over him. Enro, Ryan and Jamie. Jay Carty in 11th. Of course, no real advantage to starting on a free choice of tyres tonight, or on your qualifying tyres. So it's all reset again, and we've got a wet weather challenge in front of us. Stiggy in 10th. Hype Wills should drop down. Then Ethan, Tam, Stieber, Franco for F11 honours up there in P5. Dylan in 4th. Hecht in 3rd place. We've got Jay Tyler ever so close and within sight of Florvistic's pole, but Florvistic out there very much on his own, and really bossing that qualifying session. We had a spinner, as Kryptonite says. We had a spinner, unfortunately, but our key players have made it round. Looks like we've got a Jibuk just coming right at the back of the field. Ginger is cheering for McLaren, Stieber and Enro. But Florvistic on the outside from Jay Tyler. Hecht directly behind him as they head towards this treacherous first sector of the race in front of us. Almost underway for you. And it's lights out, and away we go in this combined F10 and an F11 final race of season 29, as the AlphaTauri gets away very nicely indeed in the Alpine, leading the rest of the field, getting nudged along through the first corner by Hecht, and they run side by side. We've got a little bit of three-wide action going further down the grid, but up at the front it's As You Were from the lead, but the McLaren spinning round, taking out its front wing, but I think has kept all four wheels on the car. Stieber down to the back, Enro down to the back as well, and Hype has dropped himself down deliberately, but the McLaren's having absolute nightmare of a first few corners as Hecht continues in P3 here. Looks like we've got a little bit of action. The other Mercedes is going to launch one down into SA, making liberal use of the inside curb there, but not quite getting on by. They go through the Pinheirino corner, and the Williams defending, but Stiggy goes for it again, and I think he's just about going to keep that place. Stiggy trying to get through Mergulo now, and into the final real corner on the lap. Mergulo, look at Jibbock up to P13 already from the back, making use of not just Hypersteber and Enro's problems, but gaining lots of places off the bat as well, especially compared to Huberto Mancini, who's not made anything like the kind of progress of his teammate. Up at the front is still Florvistic, leading from Jay Tyler, Hecht and Dylan. Then comes Franco, Tam, Stiggy, Ethan, Jamie and Jay Carty, and a little bit of a weave singular, which is well within the rules. We've got some action going down on further back here as Jay Carty in the Ferrari going up the inside of the Alpine, just behind Ethan Lessiter's Williams. And away they go then. I think Jay Carty's got the best of that one, but it looks like Florvistic all the way down the field. What has happened to our leader on his own? He's had a little spin coming out of, it looks like Decido do Lago had a spin and easily done, but our pole sitting leader in P18 now, and just trying to feel the car, doesn't look visibly damaged, but that's not always the full story. So Jay Tyler taking a surprise lead of the race as they head towards the start-finish line for the third time tonight. Yamo saying F10 is faster currently, yes. Ginger is not happy about his McLaren boys, not quite doing the job tonight. Jay Tyler with an early fastest lap, but it looks like Dylan closing very tightly on the back of Heck now. They won't, of course, have DRS at this stage in a wet race, and seeing the DRS is usually a good indicator that we've got a dry race declared on our hands. Well, Stiggy round the outside of the third corner from Tam. Will he still leave himself vulnerable here from a slipstream behind? Stiggy moving up the field beautifully. Jibbock likewise up to P11 now as Dylan chases down Hecht and tries to get the better of the Mercedes driver. Mercedes definitely on the ascendancy right now. Ethan Lessiter's having problems down, dropping down the order. He's down to P12 at 13th. Helps, of course, all the rest of those drivers picking up places, but we're getting a victim every half a lap at the moment of these conditions, and changing grip levels as the car's fat with fuel, struggling to exit corners safely. Jay Tyler continues to lead by 1.2 seconds, but Dylan will not let Heck get away. It's now about 4/10 as they go through Yong Sao, and he'll be looking for that. Wow, big slide from Dylan. It's going to kill all the advantage he had found, as Franco trying to take advantage of that situation is around the outside. He's going to have to get this one done on the brakes. Outside of turn one is very difficult, doubly so in the wet, and he just about holds onto the car. Needs to try and lose the battle to win the war. Jamie for F11 moving up the field now and getting by Tom. Look at this as we go through turn three, side by side, both of the Aston Martins moving up the field, but it's Jamie here. Ethan Lester's left the session, unfortunately. We've got another yellow flag as cars are pitted and possibly retiring from the race. We've lost Ethan and Steber, but it looks like Enro still down there in 18th. He's just made up that place, got past the pitting drivers. Matty's pitted already for Inters, and it's not unusual to see Matty be one of the bravest drivers on the strategies. So let's see if that one works out. Try and remember, Matty dropped to the foot of the field to put on the intermediate tyres. Jamie, Tom and Jibbock. Oh, Jibbock trying to get round the outside here. He'd be well used to racing with Tom in F11, but not necessarily for the same team, as Jibbock with a bit of a point to prove, trying to show that he is worthy of a seat in F10. And currently, who could argue with that? Up to 10th place from the very back of the field. Jibbock in only 5 laps, racing with fantastic precision at this point. His rain light is on. It's not derating at this point, but Jibbock up to P8 and doing excellently so far. Stiggy with an issue, dropping down for Mercedes in the pits. He's gone for Inters. So one of the first high up running drivers gone for Inters. And is that an indication that this is the right kind of time for that decision to be made? Time will tell. Franco P4 getting support in the chat as ever. And just watching and waiting for the cars in the lead positions. We've got our first two penalties for Enro and Matty as Maciek pits as well. Enro's still on wets, but Matty presumably losing grip and running wide and getting that 3-second penalty, which I believe is what he's received. No, he got a 5 seconds, so possibly under the over the pit lane speed limit. Jibuk having an issue, possibly. He's just dropped behind Tom, and now vulnerable to Ryan behind. Jay Tyler in the lead on lap 5 from Hecht, Dylan, Franco. All the top 3 make that 4. No, all the top 3 have decided to pit, but Franco has stayed out. So it looks like intermediate's the way to go right now, as Jibuk slams on the brakes to try and get it down into the right speed, but unfortunately his wet stopping point was not accounted for properly, as he's struggling now. Florverstick, after that early spin and pole position, has recovered back up to P7, but is potentially on the wrong tyre right now, although all intermediate drivers, of course, further back down the field than they ought to be. Stiggy, Hecht. Stiggy's got by Hecht, actually, so I do think that the Inters have helped with an undercut. Looks like Inters very much the tyre to be on right now, and we know that Inters can last a hell of a long time. Stiggy P9 from Hecht P10. Franco leads from Tam, J. Carty, Tom, Hype, Ryan and Florverstick. None of those guys have put the choice tyre, the intermediate, on right now. Let's see what Franco does. Remember, he was 4th in the previous lap when all the leaders went into the pits. Will Franco decide this is the right time? Shaping to the inside, yes. Can he get his braking point right? There's no grip here, and there's another penalty. Seems to just be the way, as Tam goes on by. Jay Carty does exactly the same thing. Everybody is mirroring each other. There's no grip in that pit lane entry. Everybody getting 5-second penalties. I've never seen anything like this before, as people just repeatedly make the same error. I mean, obviously they won't know what everyone else is doing in front of them, but they should see the penalty counts coming up on their OSDs at very least. This is amazing stuff. So Stiggy up there in P4 now on the right tyres, with only Jay Tyler ahead of him, who has pitted. Jay Carty's had a problem and is dropping down the field out there in the Ferrari. And will that trigger us with a safety car, because we've got a very slow circulating Ferrari? I wonder. Seems to be... Wow, this is confusing me a little bit. Why is that? He's gone to AI, has he? Very strange. Very strange indeed. So anyway, nearly the whole field now onto those intermediate tyres. Just our 2 standout drivers at the front, Tam from Ryan, and then your de facto leaders after pit stops will be Jay Tyler, Stiggy, Hecht, Franco, as they were. Then Dylan, Jamie, Tom, Neon up several places with Hype and Jibuk. Jibuk's ascendancy. Can Ryan make it into... No! Oh dear me. Ryan makes exactly the same error, unfortunately, as nearly the entire field going in and catching that difficult pit lane entry speed limit. Tam with a long Reto Apostasize lead at the moment, but it's only 7 seconds here. Then Hecht catching his teammate, but without DRS, it's not easy to overtake the same engine car ahead of you. lots of humour going on about the repeated pit lane entry issue for the drivers. Obviously no one's done very much practice trying to pit in the wet conditions. Why is it called F10 versus F11? Well, Alpha, little bit of a joke on my part. We have a VSC for an issue. Oh, who is it? It's one of the it looks like it's Huberto Mancini for the Alfa Romeo team, and it's a full safety car. So does that help Tam here, who is going to have the opportunity to get on to the Inters cheaply? Can he get into the pits? And funny enough, can he get it stopped? I will finish answering that question. Will he lock up? Oh, congratulations to Tam, who makes it into the pits faster than anybody else. Jay Tyler coming in. Interesting to see him coming in. Will everybody opt for new ones? No, Jay Tyler, the only one in so far for a new set of Inters. So, Alpha, my apologies. So it's a little bit of a joke on my front. We had difficult turnout for F11 and F10 races, so we decided to combine them. So we're having a little bit of fun having the result in front of you for you drivers alone, and then we will try and count which division comes out on top. Of course, it should be F10 because they were graded as faster than F11 and their availabilities were identical. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm normally the commentator for F11, so those are the drivers I'm slightly more familiar with, although I know some of the other ones. Robin says he's signed in for this league. So just follow the process, Robin, and someone will get in touch with you if you've got into the Discord and you've submitted your evaluation credentials and you've fulfilled all the criteria. Then you will get in almost certainly into a division. There's plenty of them, but it's probably worth waiting. This is the final race of season 29, so it'll be worth waiting for season 30 to begin, and then hopefully you'll be in. We look forward to seeing you on the racetrack. So safety car lap 9. Can't believe we're only 9 laps in. It's been pretty frantic already. It's a good time to have a look at the ascendancy or otherwise. Stiggy up 9 places here and Tom up 10, but Jibbuck's journey has been similar with a slight snag from running from the back of the grid. Looks like 3 DNFs for F10 versus 1 for F11, so maybe the F11 guys might get a good result out of this way anyway. they might manage to cling on to the end of the race and finish it. So Jibbuck now up 11. Not sure how he got past someone on the track. Florverstick down 9, but has made it up about 10 from where he was at the worst in his race so far after a problem in lap 2. Our pole sitter might cause issues for Jibbuck's bid here. It's pit stops for Ryan and for Matty that are causing some of those changes. So new inters going on. Slightly confused given the life length of the intermediate tyres why people would need to pit at this point. And then just to have a quick look at penalties. Lots of drivers have paid their 5-second. That's it. Everyone's paying for their 5-second penalties cheaply under the safety car, and then they can catch back up again. That's the explanation. Sorry for having a dense moment there. So lap 10, Stiggy and Hecht. Leader 1-2 for Mercedes, then Dylan, Tam, Jamie, Tom, Neon, Jay Tyler, Jibbuck and Florverstick are your top 10, followed by Franco, Hype, Magic, Ryan, Enro and Matty. So far 16 surviving this super wet Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Waiting now for the rearmost car, Matty, to catch up the back of the grid so that we can get underway again and he can get on terms with the rest of the runners. I would have thought this is likely to be our final lap under the safety car. Let me know your predictions. How many drivers do you think will reach the end of this race? And while we're waiting for the safety car to finish up, do just exit the live chat for a second and like the video for us, please. A reminder, the social links are at the top of the live chat as well when you come back in. I'd love to see the number of live chat and likes being as near equal as possible, please guys. It really helps us, and it's a small way to say thank you for the effort that has gone to run the stream and the leaks. So F10 very much in the ascendancy at the moment, with all four of the top four places. Then F11 in 5th, 6th, 9th, 12th, 14th, 15th and 16th places. Looks like Matty will just about reach the end. Kryptonite says a minimum of 2 drivers will finish. Yes, I think that's a fairly safe bet. Why don't is anyone brave enough to stick their neck out and suggest who will get going? Well, Stiggy will have the benefit of a rear gunner behind him, and maybe they're in a party together and can coordinate a restart. We'll watch from the perspective of Dylan, who is on the inside here, on the wet side of the track. Might want to get himself on the dry running, as Stiggy and Hecht did look slightly coordinated, unless it was just pure luck. But here comes the Williams driver, looking for a late lunge down the inside. Oh, very nicely done under brakes, and certainly got confidence on those intermediate tyres. So Dylan up to P2, and we've got a yellow flag in sector 1. Looks like it's an Alpine going slowly. It's Jay Tyler, who's lost loads of places going through that run. So the Williams driver now very much having a go here for the lead. He's a 3-second penalty as he just goes wide through turn 4. Decido del Lago exit, unfortunately. So picking up a penalty there, but the race is still pretty young. Lap 12 of 36, exactly 1/3 distance, and a slight wiggle. Looks like that rain, to my very dodgy eyesight, looks like that rain is starting to ease, and we will see a dry line start to develop. Very little spray coming out off the back of the cars, but don't necessarily go by that. That might just be the PS4 rendering of the online game. Dylan with a very loose car coming under traction out of Yun Sao. Hecht is brave enough to put a wheel on the grass on the exit of Subida dos Boxes before they head towards the start-finish line. But it looks like Dylan just about had that line. Tom dropping back slightly under this battle. It looks like the Alpine of Jamie turned round into turn 1. Sadly, Jamie losing places hand over fist as everybody gets out of his way, and he's got hot inters, so he's struggling to get the car under control. They should be able to call if he runs on the wet side of the track, and an absolute nightmare lap or 2 for Alpine down in 12th and 13th now, and they race towards the second sector. Hype getting underneath Jibbock's car. Hype having served that quali ban, it seems, by incorrectly serving it, as he launches one into the inside. Jibbock experienced enough to leave a car's width down the inside, and he's fortunate that Hype didn't lose the car offline. I think he'll go for it again, and I think they'll do a carbon copy now into Bico de Pato. They still roughly side by side, but through Mergulo, Jibbock is ahead in P7 now on lap 13 from the very back of the grid. Doing a great job is Jibbock here, moving up the field. He should, though, be vulnerable to Hype, who should get a great run coming up the hill. Jibbock is tucked into the inside, doesn't want to give him that inside line. Hype going fully around the outside, almost off the track, under the baying Brazilian crowd, looking for a little switch back here into turn 1. No, won't be done here, but it could be done down into Decido del Lago. We'll almost go an entire lap with these two drivers in a constant battle. Enro gets a penalty. Dylan is battling for the lead up ahead. Let's go up there, because I think Dylan's just taken the lead through Decido del Lago, but back comes Stiggy into turn 5. Ferradura, very quick corner, and will Hecht start to get into this mix as well. It looks like Dylan forced offline by the positioning of Hecht, and Dylan with a spin, touching the rear of the Mercedes as they try to navigate the SA corner. And Dylan, down from P2, was temporarily P1 and is down now into P7. We also lost Franco, sadly, in that melee. He's gone into the pits. I think he's retired in the pits, and he is out and has left the session, sadly. So we're down to 15 now, and that's 2 F11 drivers out as Dylan tries to regain these positions. Jibbuk is just being handed these places on a tray right now. He's up there in P6, although 2.7 seconds back from Florvistic, who is now joining the back of a bit of a train behind third place Tam. Tom is in the middle of them, and how quickly can Florvistic dispatch of these drivers? We know the kind of pace he's got in the dry because he showed it in qualifying. Oh, that's a dangerous place to put your car, and just about backed out of it enough. Tom didn't leave any more than a car's width for sure going in there, maybe slightly less, but it was a little bit speculative move from Florvistic, just flirting with track limits there on the curb on the way into the SE corner, as Ryan got the fastest lap down there in 14th, so still pushing hard. Ryan, he's completely on his own, got a nice clear track ahead of him, but is going to need a lucky break from strategy to make best use of this one. Jay Tyler moving up again, and he's just got by Magic, but here in PSGL's F10 and F11 combined final race of the season, it's still Stiggy in the lead from Hecht, then Tam, Tom, Florvistic we ride with, then Jibbuk, Hype, Dylan, Matty, Tyler, your top 10. Jibbuk, a new fastest lap of 17.185 as he gets this nice bit of clear air. We're into the second third of the race, and the drivers enjoying the intermediate conditions right now. I think the rain is easing, but we've got a safety car for a stranded and destroyed, I think, Red Bull. It was Neon out of the race, so another safety car, and I wonder what the drivers are going to do next. It could be good time to put on some new inters. I don't think anyone will be feeling brave enough to go for dry tyres at this point. Please head on out there and like the video if you can. There's at least a good 10 people on the live chat who haven't liked the video yet. Maybe make that 15 people who haven't liked the video yet, and if so, what are you doing? Come on, give us a hand. The safety car waiting there on the exit of Reto Aposta. Ryan has pitted for a new set. He had the first opportunity, and Stiggy just driving to that delta that is instructed under the safety car, and he'll have first choice whether to go into the pits. He does indeed come in. Now, can he make a better entry than before? Fully crossed up. I'm just going to see if the drivers have learnt from their mistakes. So far, so good. Everybody going through. Who else? Tom, Hype, Matty. Oh, looks like our drivers into conditions are managing to enter the pit lane safely. Well, Tam has gone on by again, and we know that the intermediate tyres will run and run and run. They will do an entire race distance, even a la Esteban Ocon, and I believe, I want to say it was Jamie did it. Jibbuk did it. No, Jamie did it earlier in the season. I think that's right, but correct me if I'm wrong about that one. Some lens flare on the camera suggests there is indeed some sunshine breaking through. Whether the drivers would be willing to gamble on it at this stage, I think it's a bit too early. Tam is just warming the tyres, keeping them alive. Though, you have to say, on the top 6 drivers' cars, their tyres probably won't need a lot of warming to keep in the window. All the drivers, of course, having those temperature readouts, and they'll know that the correct operating range for themselves. Does look like they're a little bit cold on the Red Bull, if I can read that steering wheel correctly. So the new order on lap 17 under our second safety car is Tam, Florvistic, who was in pole, of course. Then Dylan has recovered, Hype, Matty and Enro, all those drivers on old intermediates. Then on brand new intermediates we have our erstwhile leaders Stiggy and Hecht, followed by Tom, Jay Tyler, Maciek, Jamie, Jibbuk and Ryan. Jibbuk back down to the penultimate place on the grid on fresh tyres. It's perhaps not working out quite as he planned this last to first challenge, and he's got a lot to do to rescue that particular mission tonight. It's mission win now for Djibouti. This safety car now just waiting, I think, here for Ryan in the Haas to catch the back of the grid. We've just reached our halfway distance. I hope we haven't lost Franco's team of fans. I hope they're going to stick around for us. But if your favourite driver is in the top group here, make sure you share the race on socials, and we'll have the second half coming up for you very shortly. Safety car coming in this lap as Ryan joins the back of the queue. Dylan on another restart with two different drivers in front of him, but starting another restart in third place. As I say, those intermediate tyres shouldn't have too many problems. Oh, we've had our first collision under safety car. It's Djibouti and Ryan. Presumably that was Ryan running into the back of Djibouti, so Djibouti may get that 5-second penalty removed, although there's not a huge amount of point. It looks like Florvistic on the attack on the way into turn 1. Not quite close enough, but Stiggy is definitely launching it onto Enro, who hits the side pod and might have caused a small amount of floor damage or side pod damage, but Hecht and Stiggy try and protect each other from similar moves as Stiggy just gets the overlap through past Hecht. Jay Tyler moving up as well, and Tom losing out through that run, and it's Florvistic now a quarter of a second off the lead currently with Tam. Neon has joined us just to say track is undrivable. He lost the rear, so interesting. Specifically, what was making the track undrivable? Just the greasy conditions, Neon, or what exactly? We definitely saw that the pit lane entry was undrivable earlier on in the race. Oh, the Haas of Hype spears out of the track. Has he gone out of the race, I wonder? Let's see. Car in one piece. Well, it's got four wheels on it at least. Certainly it's moving under one piece, but not good for Hype there, unfortunately, or for Haas. Now Dylan racing down towards turn 1 with the opportunity for a move. Stiggy is getting by Matty's Alpha Tauri. It does look like those new inters are working very well for the drivers, and Hype's got a 5-second penalty coming into the pit lane again, and he's retired from the session. Not happy with the way the race has worked out for him. Ryan is doggedly carrying on though. He's in P14, soon to be P13, losing out with possibly a spin down there in the back of the field. It looks like Dylan off the track again. Another driver having problems. Dylan on the 13-lap-old Inters is getting mugged by all the guys on new Inters. It looks like Jay Tyler moving up the order. Is Dylan even going to survive this lap? As Tom races by, Dylan dropping down to P7. Florvistic has the lead, 1.2 seconds ahead of Tam, Stiggy, Hecht, Tyler, Tom, Dylan, Jamie, Djibouti, Matty, Maciek, Enro and Ryan make out your 13-car field right now. It looks like F10 still have the edge at the front here, with holding the top 5 positions yet again. Hi to Alex Pato, who's watching along, presumably here to cheer on Maciek from a different league that can't be mentioned, of course. Yeah, friends from multiple channels. Good to have everybody here. A little bit of trolling going on of Neon, which I'd hope he won't rise to. But Stiggy and Hecht seemingly joined together this race for the Mercedes team. Florvistic has dropped Tam considerably here. Florvistic trying to get away from these new intermediate tired cars of Stiggy, Hecht, Tyler, Tom, Jamie, Djibouti and Maciek, as well as Ryan, who all pitted under the safety car. although Ryan's had a problem getting those tyres up to temperature, unfortunately. Still determined to carry on. He said he was racing for Jarmo tonight, so that's a little bit of Dutch solidarity, I think. Hecht just putting 2 wheels out there on the grass. Dangerous game in these conditions, but 6/10 off his teammate. Tom is just 3/10 off Jay Tyler. Tom trying to tuck into the slipstream. Florverstick gets a new fastest lap for AlphaTauri. Tom using the middle of the track here to avoid some of the aero washout. Trying to get on the traction, but it's all about feel. Looks like he's got the car hooked in, but it's just not going to be enough down Retta Raposta. I don't think Tom chasing, but just not able to catch Jay Tyler. But he's piling the pressure on, and that could lead to more accidents. We've seen plenty of them tonight. Not a lot of contact, but a lot of drivers slipping off the circuit or getting a mistake, especially the entries into the pit lane under the wet conditions. That's got to be worth a decent clip or shorts edit if anyone's game. Yellow flag in sector 2. Looks like it's Enro for McLaren with a problem down there. I'll join Ryan and see. Oh no, it looks like Enro back running. Car roughly looks okay, so I think we'll avoid another retirement at this stage. Florverstick though still out there in front, but it looks like the Red Bull of Tam having trouble, was struggling out of Yun Sao and is just getting absolutely mullered by everybody coming on by. The Alpine of Jay Tyler queuing up for the next go. He's got some momentum here as we've got some action behind the two of them, as it looks like Tom trying to get by Dylan, but Jay Tyler does succeed in getting past Tam, who had a problem, dropped a couple of places. Tam on those older intermediates, struggling now. Still, the rain falls. Enro has retired from the session in the pits, so that's the right way to do it. Obviously a little bit unhappy with himself. That lets Ryan up to P12. Can I get an update from our furious calculator Jarmo tonight on the positions? I think it's fairly obvious that F11 are in the second half of the field, at first glance at least. Yellow flag, sector 1. Looks like that McLaren trying to come out of the pits. Bizarre. Okay, I thought he'd successfully retired early enough in the pit lane, but it obviously didn't quite work out. So Tom, 3/10 back, make that 4.5 from Tam. And we've got Tyler, Tam, Tom, your 5th, 6th and 7th position drivers. Lap 24. We are 2/3 of the way through with Florverstick out there significantly faster than everybody else. Whether that translates to a result tonight, only the safety car and race control will be able to tell you. Stiggy is in second, picking up penalties with his teammate Hecht right behind him. I wonder if he'll let his teammate by now that he's got that penalty. Then Tyler, Tam, Tom, followed by Dylan, Jamie, Jibbuk, Matty, Maciek and Ryan. Your 12 drivers left in a field of 20 that took the starting grid. Maciek gets a penalty, a 3-second penalty now. So we'll have a quick look at penalty situations. 3 seconds each for all the drivers apart from Jibbuk that have the flag next to their name. I think Jibbuk's was picked up by an incident under safety car where he was hit from behind by Ryan. A little bit of blue on blue action for our F11 boys coming together. Easily done, no criticism on my part. I know how easy it is to run into each other. So back to the tyre view as Dylan is struggling here on the old Inters, but no such problem for Florverstick. Lots of nice close racing between P2 all the way down to really, I guess, P9 here in the race. Florverstick is making an excellent recovery from an early spin on lap 2. He was our pole position driver. Had two times in qualifying good enough for pole. but has made a mistake tonight already. The grid really closing up behind them now, and the rain still falling in this third third of the race, final third of the race, I should say. Stiggy and Hecht close together. Anybody have a prediction as to who the next DNF will be if we are to get another one? Whose tyres will start to drop? You've got to look at Matty, Tam and Florverstick for their old inters as being a potential problem, but certainly not affecting Florverstick right now. Ryan is having a bit of a struggle around the race tonight. I wonder if he picked up some floor damage early on. Jamie is just being overtaken here by Gibbuk. Both of them admins of the F11 division, but I'm sure if they're anything like normal friendships, they'll be willing to race each other even harder than anybody else. Gibbuk up to P8. He's going for a last to first challenge tonight, but it's not easy when you're fighting a division up. You've moved up a weight group, I guess. Heck still staying this 5/10 back from Stiggy. Just doesn't seem to be able to get any overspeed. Perhaps we'll get some DRS later in the race, who knows? Oh, Gibbuk and Jamie trading places again. Looks like Gibbuk might have had a small off, having dropped back so far, and is now in the clutches of Matty. So we've got 3 F11 drivers together, P8, 9 and 10. Tom looking very close here to the back of Tam. Dylan with him. Tom the one on the youngest inters, so should have an advantage at this point in the race. Definitely brightening up. The sky is definitely clearing up from my view of things anyway. Any predictions when we might get the first dry tyre run at tonight? Could be right at the end. We've only got 9 racing laps to run in this 36 lap race. If we will see another safety car or not tonight. Looks like the drivers, for the most part, feeling comfortable on their lines and braking points at the moment, although those intermediate runners on 17 plus laps are seeming to struggle a little bit now. I can see traction issues, although no problems for Dylan, who gets underneath Tom and up into P6. I'm a little bit conflicted, trying to remain impartial, but I do have various stakes in the game tonight. I'm the regular F11 commentator. I'm part of the NLR broadcast team. I commentate over Magic in another league, and Matty's in virtually every league I commentate on. So it's a very interesting place to try and remain impartial tonight. Dylan doing a good job though, up into P6. Florverstick has rescued his race from disaster earlier on. Dylan now with another penalty, sadly. Just as I say, he's doing well. Tom on the hunt. Hecht has got just within 5/10, but didn't slip back out of 5/10 range from Stiggy. As the Mercedes duel continues throughout this race. Dylan getting the car comfortably into Young Sao. Next target is Tam up ahead, closing, but it's about being patient. Without DRS, the Brazilian Grand Prix, it's all about patience and pressure. He who makes the fewest mistakes potentially will be the one that gets the position. Up 29, we have a yellow flag. I think that's Ryan at the back of the field. struggling through the exit of Young South, through the Subida dos Box, final 2 corners, as he headed into the pits. No, he's continuing, so it must have just been a spinella for him. Quick look then at the penalties. You can see Stiggy with 3, Tyler, Tam and Maciek, then 6 on Dylan's car, 15 on Jibbock's car, though 5 of those I would suggest will get removed. Howie's picked up a further 10, I'm afraid I haven't seen on the screen. In terms of places gained from the start, Florverstick's progress not really fairly represented by that particular lap, by that particular count, as he's been at the back and at the front twice tonight. Then Stiggy up 8, Jibbock up 11, but not quite making the progress that he'd hoped, and possibly he's going to suffer a lot of penalty countbacks. Might drop down to P11 after this if he can't get all of them removed. So it's lap 30 with 6 to go. Florverstick in the lead by 6 seconds, followed by Hecht, Jay Tyler, Tam. We ride with Dylan, then Tom, Jamie, Jibbock, Matty getting the 10th place right now, then Maciek 5 seconds back from him, and 25 back from anybody is Ryan currently. Hi to Frodo, DJ and Madiha, who have joined us in the chat. I'm afraid I don't understand the latest comment, but you'll have to fill me in. Really good race so far. It looks like Dylan having a go here into turn 1. Will he launch it down the inside? Looks like the Red Bull really sweeping around the outside, confident on his owning of that particular racing line, but Dylan on the outside of the Curva del Sol is virtually pushing the Red Bull down Reta Oposta and has the inside line going into Descida del Lago. Looks like he's got the track to himself, taken the racing line, and Dylan firm racing, but frankly looks quite fair, taking the racing line on the inside, owning that corner, getting the job done over 4 or 5 corners, and Dylan up to P5 then now, and hoping to get away. Jibbock, I saw, caught another penalty. Maybe he's just going for fastest laps now and trying to push. So we've got 5 complete racing laps to go. Hecht has another warning, another penalty, and we've got a huge bank of penalties confusing the matter at the top of the grid. The rain still continues to fall and the sun is parting the clouds in certain parts of the racetrack. I don't know if we'll get any dry running at the end. Ryan has decided to try it, and he's gone on to soft tyres. And should we go see how he's doing? I think we will. How does the car feel under Ryan at the moment? 44 seconds his gap at the moment to the rest of the field. So let's see if that suddenly starts to drop. It's got good traction. It's certainly helping on that front. A 5-second penalty for Maciek, who's decided to go into the pits. I wonder if that's for dry tyres as well. Looks like Ryan is at least staying on terms with the rest of the field here. He's not dropping back hugely, although further up we've got Tam and Tom battling next to each other coming out of Descida del Lago. A little bit of rubbing's racing, but Tam turn round, didn't perhaps have enough room there, though they were both in the middle of the track. Tam down to 10th, he was slightly behind. Usually the driver behind is the one that gets turned round under these game physics, so DRS has been enabled. It is a dry race despite the rain still falling, so it is now declared a dry race. And what do our leaders do? Florverstick's gone into the pits. He can afford to go into the pits, and he picks up a penalty, so that's going to complicate matters. One of the Mercedes does come in. It's Stiggy, just survives the pit entry. Tom in for the Aston Martin, but Jibbock goes on through. I think he can still see the rain falling. In fact, it's still spotting on his halo. So maybe there'll be an overlap potential here as we go down to 3 remaining laps. Jibuk has 18 seconds of penalties though. He won't feature on the podium tonight, but everybody else currently racing with penalties to pay. Soft tyres for Florverstick. He's given up the lead to Hecht, Tyler and Jibuk on the road, but now with soft tyres, as this race has got a real sting in the tail for us, and we should have 3 very quick laps to end this one. Hecht leads. He's got a good gap here. Can he run those inters right to the end, or is he tempted to come on in? Of course, he would have been queuing with Stiggy had he gone in at the same time. So is his overcut worth more than a stacked run in the pits, or will he just brave it out? Looks like he's going to hang on out there. The rain has definitely stopped now. Jay Tyler coming in. Jibuk, does he double down on the strategy, or is he coming in? He's coming in too. So Florvistic will have no cars in front of him, and the battle for Hecht at the front of the field. Jibuk's got another penalty going into the pits. He's just on a kamikaze run tonight, Jibuk, and will be putting those soft tyres on. So it's just Hecht staying out there. He's got a 7.5 second lead. How quickly will that drop? Will it drop by 2.5 seconds, 3.5 seconds a lap that it needs to in order for him to resume the lead of the race? Remember, Hecht is on just 3 seconds of penalties and the only driver on intermediate tyres at this stage. Can he hang on to the very end of this one? It's going to be quite a run for Hecht. 5 seconds is now the gap with 2 complete laps to run. Ryan with the new fastest lap of the race. He's absolutely attacking. It looks like Tam's had a problem coming out of the pits and has left the session on the exit of the pit lane, potentially having a little issue there for Tam. I wonder if he hit the pit wall and spun the car out on the way out there. Looks like, oh, has Hecht come into the pits? He has. He's given up that potential win. And Florvistic on a new fastest lap resumes the lead of the race. Hecht trying to get a good result out of this one, but I'm really surprised given that Florvistic had 2 seconds extra penalties ahead of him that Hecht came in. So Stiggy gets second, Dylan up to third, Jay Tyler up to fourth now as they come on out the pits, as Hecht is on his way out and dropping back now behind Tom as well. Wow. I'm honestly pretty surprised that he gave up that lead, because with the 2 additional seconds of penalties won by Florvistic's car, he could have held on or at least stayed with the driver ahead, but clearly the Inters were not able to live with it. Maybe they're just completely worn out in these dry conditions now. So Hecht on the newest softs, but everybody's on softs, and it's definitely advantage Florvistic here. 9.3 seconds his gap at the front, and remember, he did start on pole, but he was down at the back of the grid after lap 2, so to get that kind of gap is pretty devastating for the rest of the field. Jibuk, our F11 champion, has not had quite the race he was hoping for. He's up to P9 from the back, but with 18 seconds of penalties. Just Tom, Jamie, Matty, as usual for Matty I should say, and Ryan have not picked up a track extension penalties, or at least have not picked up anything they haven't been able to pay off in the pits. Hecht is close though now to Tom, trying to get his way back up towards this podium if he can. We're on the final lap for Florvistic. He's about halfway around this lap, but let's see if this move for the race. Wow, so close, so close. Oh no! Does Hecht help Tom stay on the track? They just about helped each other stay on track, but it wasn't working out. Dylan's got something to say about Stiggy's finishing position, although it would be a hiding to nothing currently because he's got more penalties to pay. Looks like Florvistic is heading up the hill for the final time. Florvistic then to take the final race win of the year. Florvistic for NLR, for AlphaTauri and for F10 wins in Brazil, followed up the hill by Stiggy. Will Stiggy hang on as Dylan gets a tow? They're almost next to each other. New fastest lap from Dylan on the final lap of the race. Stiggy second, Dylan ninth, with Jay Tyler in the Alpine, currently in 4th place. Then Tom getting past Jamie. Hecht dropping down to 7th with all those penalties. Then we have Matty in P8, Gibbuk in P9 with, I think, is about to drop back potentially. He's got the new fastest lap, Gibbuk. There, will he drop behind Magic on the line? No, because Magic had 8 seconds of penalties as well. Magic gets that awarded, and his track time. Ryan picks up P11. What a night's racing, dogged, determined racing for Ryan, but to come home in 11th, it's got to be a little bit dissatisfying. We've hit 50 comments on the live chat tonight. Thank you very much for everybody. Looks like Gibbuk got himself driver of the day there from the game. And Florverstick, our Dutch pole sitting and last to first challenge winning racer tonight for F10, AlphaTauri for NLR. Congratulations to Florverstick for a brilliant victory, and NLR well represented on the podium as well. So Florverstick, as I say, winning, and pole position as well. Didn't get the fastest lap, sadly. Stiggy, Dylan, Tyler and Tom make a British 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by really a British 6th in the Welshman Jamie. Then Hecht for South Africa for Mercedes gets 7th place. Matty and Gibbuk making sure there are plenty of Union flags in the top 10. Then Ryan, another Dutchman, in 10th. Maciek in 11th. And unfortunately, we lost Tam. Or did Tam actually? Tam came through a lap down. Enro out of the race, as was Hype, Neon, Franco, Roberto Mancini, Jay Carty, Ethan Lessiter and Stieber for Finland. Right at the back, our earliest retiree. Wow, like I say, it's been an interesting event for our final race of the season, a combined race for F10 and F11 to give you a bit of a better show. Hope you've enjoyed it. And do make sure you've liked the video before you disappear on us. My name is Webbo. You can find me on Twitter at WebboRed5. You can find Premier Sim GL on Twitter as well. Links at the top of the live chat. Please subscribe and you'll be the first to hear of our season 30 as we resume, I think, in January. But there's also an esports cup going on that you can watch, and there's plenty of quite a lot of videos on there to keep you busy during the Christmas holidays. Thanks to everybody for a cracking season 29. I've been with F11 the whole time, and it's been a pleasure to join F10 for one night only. Very grateful to everybody who has had a hand in running the league and the drivers who've put on such a great show. Quality driving all year, all season long. And I wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from me, Webbo. But until next time, I will catch you all on the next race day.